Hey family, on November 20th through December 1st, 2022, we will have the all-inclusive Kenya trip. Now, a lot of times people have said, hey, Phil, when's the next trip we'd like to go? I want to see Africa for myself, but this is the time to go. Everything will be taken care of. All excursions are paid. You can do monthly payments. You know, they'll have safari and a 6-city tour. You will see Charlie Island, which is something that we did not see last time on the tour. This tour will be 12 days instead of 7 days. So make sure to secure your place on the trip by going to www.wbsvs.com, make your deposit, and then you can start making your payments, and we'll see you in Kenya. So ladies and gentlemen, we traveled to Austin, Texas, our state capital, with Dr. Candice Matthews, because she was going to go drop documents of some funny style things that the Texas Department of Human and Health Services was doing to, the children, and also to providers that's with foster care children. Now, we know the foster care system have a lot of children in them, and black folks and, other groups of people who are, non-white have agencies. And what's been going on is that these agencies are being penalized just on some BS. And we know that's how they try to sabotage black businesses. So Dr. Candice Matthews, she went to Austin to confront them about that. So let's go ahead and roll that.
And I really appreciate that, because that is basically what we need as providers, to know that we're being supported. And I want you all to know that we look forward to working with you. And Commissioner Masters, I want to say thank you in reference to the atrocity that happened over at Sterling Shore Apartments, where the apartments were calling in false intake on people who were living in inhumane conditions. And I really appreciate you guys getting on top of that, because that is actually a national catastrophe at this point right now. However, residential child care licensing, I have an issue with you all. I have a serious issue. And the issue that I have at this point right now is that I really feel that I have to drop the hammer of accountability, because what has happened is that the last meeting that we had, I brought some concerns to you all, and you all were not proactive at all. I brought the documents this time. What we have is forged compliance history. And I brought, this is actually happening across the board. I only just brought a sample. We have compliance history from my actual agency. Okay? Now, I keep my compliance history for the last 12 years since I've been over. And when the height monitoring deal came down the pipe, when the probations and all this stuff came down the pipe, I requested my compliance history to see if it was going to match, and it didn't. So I need, because you all are kind of new, so I'm going to kind of work with you. I'm at least try to, like I did with CPS. But I'm going to bring it to the forefront. And if you look at the document that I put on your table, here is this compliance history where it has 2 high deficiencies. When you go to the original compliance history, it only has 1 medium for the same investigation. So we take falsification of documentation very seriously. A lot of these providers that are sitting here take it very seriously with people that work for them, because you all are the ones supposed to be regulating us. And then it's a trickle-down effect, because it comes to monetary fines when it deals on the CPS side of the house. So how can we trust for you all to be honest when these practices are happening? Then you all try to retaliate against me because I was pushing back. This here was from Fox 7, because you put my agency on probation illegally. And you stated to Fox 7 that my agency was on probation before we even can complete the administrative review. So you already made up your mind that you was going to put my agency on probation. I got a problem with that retaliation practices. Then, the Texas Administrative Code that you all violated. And this, I'm speaking for all providers in here. that you have put on probation or any type of monetary fines. Because according to this Texas Administrative Code, which is Title 40, Part 19, Subchapter 745M, it says, if you do not waive your right to request an administrative review, we may not implement any decision or action that is subject of the review until your due process rights concerning the decision or action are exhausted. So my question is, I have quite a bit of incomplete administrative reviews, but yet still you put my agency on probation, as well as others that sit in that audience. You violated our Texas law, and you also violated when it comes to federal law when it deals with due process. So, I have an issue with that. And, I'm almost done. And right here, this is everything dealing with the falsification. I only just gave a snippet, but I'm letting you know now that I will be bringing this to Secretary Bacata that is in Washington, D.C., because I want a federal investigation on Human Health Services residential child care licensing. Because these type of practices, we can't have that. So, I brought it to you because last time y'all thought I was just talking. Here it is right here. So my question, what are you going to do about it? I'm waiting.
Hi, my name is Rachel.
Nice to meet you, Ms. Rachel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I'm the new Associate Commissioner for Child Care Regulation. What we take very seriously is health, safety, well-being of children. But what we also are committed to is working with our community partners, because we understand that if you all aren't there, then people don't get the services they need. So I can assure you of that. I am new. I will also go on the record and say that. But what I am committed to, and I know this team is committed to, is working with the providers. So everything that you provide, I will review. I will escalate up to our chain as well to make sure that your concerns are addressed. But what I can't do is I cannot address them now because I don't have the time to sit down and look at everything, escalate it up, and then have a response for you.
Okay, well, the main, am I on? Okay, so the main point is that I'm putting you on notice. And I'm letting you know that I'm not going to go away until this stuff is done. Because at the end of the day, I did not get in this business in order to be done in any type of systemic way. Because this is happening to minority providers. The last time I didn't bring the proof. The proof is here. So now, I will give you the opportunity to try to redeem yourself from this because you wasn't here. All of these practices was happening before you got here. And then you have providers that are illegally on actions that it shouldn't be. And that's what I'm on at this point right now because I am highly upset. My agency should not be on probation and I still got incomplete admin reviews. That should not happen. None of these providers that are in here sitting right now that's on any type of action and they all got incomplete admin reviews. And you know how I know why? Because we all got the same attorney. And I can give you that documentation. So you let me know when you're ready to meet. Because this is on the way to DC.
Okay. Thank you very much for bringing it up. I appreciate that.
So as you see here with Dr. Candice Matthews, just got done with the meeting calling out the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
And Human Health Services.
And Human Health Services
Human Health
also. Make sure I say that. Dropping documents about them, not doing what they're supposed to do. So Dr. Matthews, let people know exactly, fully, like why you had to come down here, why you had to call these people out.
Well, I had to come down here because I had to drop the hammer of accountability because we have a state agency, Texas Department of Human Health Services, residential child care licensing, forging documents of minority providers' compliance history, knowingly forging documents. And so the key thing about it was that they didn't think that I still had my compliance history. And so then when I requested it from them, it didn't match. So somebody got to call them out on the egregious, insidious behavior that they're doing toward minority providers to try to put us out of business. And that is not going to be okay in my book at all. And then another deal that I looked at too was the retaliation piece, because ever since I've been pushing back, they turn around and they try to retaliate against my agency, stating that my agency is on probation, and then they put my agency on probation illegally by violating Texas administrative codes when it comes to dealing with the administrative reviews, which falls under the due process. That also violates federal law as well. So somebody got to let them know when they breaking the law, because the first time you break the law, they come to take your kids or they ready to indict you. So I had to go on and indict the ham of accountability today. And those documents that I actually have, that I only let out snippets of it, but I have the entire documents, and I'm going to bring that directly to the Secretary of Human Health Services in Washington, D.C., because we demand a full federal investigation into these patterns and practice that these suckers doing in here. Somebody got to let them know we not playing, because I'm not.
Well, it's quite concerning that I seen the makeup of, the people here, and I didn't see a lot of black people at all, and they can't relate to what happens in our community, how our kids get in those situations, and they're making all these decisions about our children. That's greatly concerning.
Yeah, it really is. And then at the same time, that's why you have to have, it needs to be diversity that needs to be on this board. It needs to be, because in order for us to help for the best interest of children and also for black business, we need to be properly represented. And so that's why I'm just going to continue to do what I do until we can be properly represented.
So what can the people do to assist with, what you're trying to do? Is it something they need to email, call? What do they need to do?
Well, if you have any issues, if you are a minority provider, you have any issues, you can email me at cmatthews@rainbowpush.org. If you have issues with CPS, where your children has been taken, or you have documents, or you have where it's some illegal activities that's happening, also email me, cmatthews@rainbowpush.org, because I'm going to bring that hammer and I'm going to make sure that they understand that it will not be tolerated.
Yeah, and before I wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, when Dr. Matthews is talking, there's this one lady that's back here. She looked like, I don't know the lady, she looked like a whole Karen. But she was cutting looks, making funny faces. I'm like, what the hell wrong with that lady? So if she's making funny faces at her, how is she really engaging and doing things with children?
Well, the reason why she's making funny faces, honey, because, baby, I got her right on together at the last meeting. Yeah, she's a Karen, and I'm just going to be real about it. They cannot stand to see a woman of color that come here with power and that come here with documents that's showing that they're breaking Texas laws. And I'm going to keep bringing that heat on their behind. So Karen can look all the way she want to look. Because, Karen, I will give it to you again when I come back here 3 months from now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have any issues and problems, like she stated, her email is cmatthews@rainbowpush.org. Parents that having these issues, please contact her, give her the facts and information, as she said before, pictures, etc. So you want to leave with anything before we wrap up?
Well, one thing is, the hammer of accountability never sleeps. Y'all have a good one.